Oh, welcome everybody. This is your girl Erica Williams from the Classy Climb blog. You know it is Tuesday, and what is Tuesday? Tech Tuesday. It's been that for 3 years now. It's such an honor to be here again. Listen, I bring the best guests, the special agents out here, and none other than Chris Johnson. Introduce yourself to the audience and tell them where they can find you online.
All right, so I am Chris Johnson, as Erica just said, and I am the founder of JumpStart IT Academy, which is a platform that assists new or existing professionals to transition into tech. I've been hot with fire on this topic and this project for about 5 years because of the great need to recruit and retain tech professionals from other professions. Usually people are not aware of the opportunity, so I'm here to basically herald and get the message out there and speak the gospel of tech.
Love it, love it, love it. So, you guys, I want to kick off. Thank you, Lisa Mills. She's a new member. Just shout out to her real quick, and shout out to Mr. Evans 512. All right, Houston, Texas. Okay, and you guys, right here, this is where you can sign up with the Jumpstart IT Academy. Now, you guys, kicking this off. I don't know how many of you guys were aware, but before we start, make sure you drop your city and state in the chat. And let us know if you got into the Breaking Into Tech Facebook group. We have a free Facebook group where we have great content, great links, because we want to help people out. Let me kick it off. Man, it's been wow. I don't know if you was out there, but let me tell you guys, cybersecurity issues shut down MGM Grand. I'm talking about slot machines stopped working, hotel access stopped working. Literally ATM stopped working, disruption all over the place. Again, if you go here, let me go down. Several of them told you craziness. Let me see. Slot machines weren't working, hotel rooms weren't working. I know the gambling side of things, people were upset. Okay, let me see. I don't like this one. I got a better article. Let me go to the next one. Because a lot of people always ask, well, what tech jobs? What kind of tech jobs? What are tech jobs? Like making sure Betsy don't get her slot machine locked out. Okay, this is bad. All right, they're investigating a cybersecurity issue. I love how they're calling it an issue, not an attack. Some of its websites were offline. The screens on the casino gambling machines flash error messages. Okay, they had people locked out of and couldn't pay for their dining. Front desk tried the best to help people. They apologized for the outage and provided a list of concierge phone numbers at several locations because you was locked out. Okay. The issue wasn't limited to MGM Grand Las Vegas. See, this is how crazy it was. It hit Philadelphia. Well, let me say it the correct way. Philadelphia reports that MGM Portaga Hotel in Atlantic City was likewise affected by the attack. The Hope Road residents didn't say how. Even MGM Grand Detroit Casino was also affected. Okay. With X user posing the casino has all the games running, but the digital keys in MGM reward programs are down. Y'all, this was a like super coordinated attack. This is like they got too many systems connected. ABC 13 News in Las Vegas confirms the FBI is currently investigating and is in contact with MGM Grand. Hotel guests were unable to get access ATMs, buy food, use their digital room keys. Posts from hotel guests on Monday said staff were using pencil and paper to keep track of things. A post this morning showed disabled slot machines at the Ericka. I'm saying it wrong. Casino. The X account Las Vegas locally claimed, citing an insider, they had been the victim of ransomware attack. Oh my God! Some boomer in the back opened up some email. Lord Jesus. Though this has not been confirmed. XM remover Murphy posted a picture saying the MGM Grand where slot machines were also out of service. Everything is still down. No ATMs, no withdrawal from the cashier. Now our slot machines are going down. Now this is September 11th, y'all. I'm just I just want you to think what's going through people's mind. Like, wait a minute. No, not again, right? Tech issues continue. MGM scores again, multiple posts, several articles on this. You know, the reason I'm bringing this up, it's so important because we talk about what type of tech jobs. I don't want to be in a boring job. That is not boring. Okay. So again, they had 48,000 rooms. The MGM Resorts is multiple resorts. They had 48,000 rooms. Half the rooms people couldn't get into. That's a huge number. That is huge. So Chris, tell me, I mean, we're not making you do investigative services here, but when you hear something like this in your head, what goes through your mind?
Okay. What goes through my mind just looking at the technical aspect of it is there was some central piece or component that connected all of their systems together. That's bad. You know what I mean? There's in your house you have the master switch for your power. And if you're working on something, you turn that all off. Excuse me. You don't want that for your technology components on the back end. You just don't want that. Essentially, what I want people to know is that as elaborate as you think MGM Grant is, and they are elaborate, I work with these companies. I know the dirt that's under the rug. You understand? You look at them, you see the beauty of the buildings, you see the professional guests or the professional people who are greeting the guests, and you see all that. But on the back end, usually they'll neglect, cut on budget, and they won't take what technical professionals tell them seriously. It's like, hey, we need this, we need that, we need to add this to a technology roadmap. And they won't add it because they don't see the need. And because they don't see the need and they don't want to listen to the tech people, because at times we can sound like we just want, trinkets and gifts and gadgets, because we can be like children when it comes to being an engineer. But nonetheless, what I see is some form of neglect, technically, with some central location that had a vulnerability. I also see opportunity. The opportunity being that you got cybersecurity professionals that can take advantage of this situation. There's some consultants who woke up yesterday very excited. Unfortunately, it just is what it is. Also, I think of business continuity. In other words, I think of disaster recovery professionals that they should have had on board beforehand. I think of business professionals who put together business continuity packages so that the business can continue in the event of something catastrophic such as this. Now, if they had those things in place, I understand they were using pencil and paper and pad and things like that.
Crazy.
But those things it should have been, how you do a fire drill, and, when you're in school, they do the fire drill. This is what you do. This is how you get out. And companies are supposed to have business continuity and disaster recovery plans so that if something takes place, then they can continue operation. In other words, a lot of companies got rid of their physical components, meaning they went to complete virtual, perhaps in the cloud. What I see is that what they'll probably do, and I'm not seeing any of this, but you just showed me this like literally like 5 minutes before.
Yep.
I was trying to tell you right off the cuff.
I throw them up on give them challenge.
Right off the cuff, Ericka, they should have had at least what we call redundancy, two cloud platforms. Like say, their systems running a duplicate environment of Microsoft Azure and another environment on AWS, so that if their AWS platform got attacked, it would just fall over to their Azure platform. The reason I say that is because just in casino funds alone, they make $15 million a day. Now just take that in.
15 million
money. So if you're neglecting to hire the $200,000 a year cybersecurity guy, you didn't want to put a business continuity plan together, you didn't want to hire the disaster recovery team, you're sitting here like, okay, in one day you could have paid all of their salaries, even all departments, you could have paid them probably for 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Alone.
Yeah. I would say it's $1 billion hurt, but I think it's worse than that. You know what I mean? I mean, like, if you're talking about, sorry, microphone's far away. If you're talking about Detroit, Philadelphia, Atlantic City, if you're talking about, I'm talking about multiple states at the same time, there had to be, there had to be some machines malfunction, spit out money. There had to be a combination of stuff. It wasn't just, it took my money and didn't do. There were some machines probably spitting out money, and that's why when people tried to go to the cashier, you can't go to the cashier. I mean, like, to me, that's just dangerous. So imagine you got people on the floor with cash money, with chips, security. Then security walks you to your room. You can't get in your room. Now everybody's done seen you walk by with all these chips in your little bag by, with security. Baby, that's a setup. I mean, there
It
there's gonna be
is.
fallout from this on top of fallout because it's just a dangerous. It's a completely dangerous moment, and this is
Yes,
why I be
man.
telling people they want everything digital. I'll be like, no, no, we need some hand keys. We need some keys to the door.
That's
We
what I'm
need
talking about.
some override keys. We need some other stuff. Give
The
me the
jail
key to.
facilities, they did get that wrong.
Well, yeah, I need the key the maid has. Okay, it's gonna work regardless what's going on. The door opens. I don't like that at all. I mean, again, like I mean, people. What about a person that's inside their room and didn't leave was because they were scared? I mean, there's gonna be a lawsuit saying I was terrified. I was locked in my room. It's real crazy. Um, someone said one cloud in Texas and one cloud in Kansas City. Something split them up, split them
Yeah,
things
some
up.
type of redundancy. Yeah,
Yeah,
redundancy, hot redundancy. I would always have a hot redundancy plan so that, like, literally, it's just switch, switch. It's
hmm
not switch, get the business continuity or disaster recovery plan, and then turn these servers on. No, this servers went off, these servers went on.
The Wall Street in New York, basically they have a magic kill switch that within 60 seconds, all their transactions can go over to the Chicago exchange. Even though Chicago exchange, you see this big old building, you're like, why? They don't do that much. They're the backup to the backup. That's why they're so big. Their building is kind of just like, if all goes wrong, if something happens again, a 9/11 attack or something crazy happens again in New York, it is a 60 seconds and everything will switch over. And I was like, it's crazy, but it's necessary. Millions of dollars, billions of
Yes.
dollars, really. You need a backup to the backup, a bunch. Employer complain but won't train employees. That could be possible. That could be part of the problem. Casinos have better security than the Pentagon. Not yesterday. Not yesterday. There weren't enough security guards to walk them chips out of that. I'm pretty sure they got millions of dollars in chips and all kind of people didn't pay their food. They walked away from the food tables, all kind of craziness. All kinds. I'm certain of it. Um, let me see. Somebody said an Ocean's 11 attack. I did, I'm not gonna tell y'all one thing for real. I ain't never watched Ocean's 11, 12, 13. I just was like, I see them. I mean, Brad Pitt up there, George Clooney, but I've never watched it. But I believe y'all. I really do. So Lisa Lane said, perfect timing. Where do we start? How do I
Where do we start?
start, Chris?
Well, where you start is we have the consultation bundle that we're offering. Because the reason I say it is because a lot of people are asking that question, and you have to understand that literally 99% of people who have either new or transitioning into tech, they don't realize that it takes working through. You understand, because tech is not just broad, it's deep. And because tech is broad and deep, it's more individualistic in terms of me understanding where are you coming from, what's your background, what's your experience, what are some of the industries that you've been a part of. But I'll give you some insight into how I evaluate these candidates, such as Lisa Lang. Is I sit and I ask you basically a question, a list of questions. From those lists of questions, I will unearth what you are seeking to articulate. And the whole goal is to take my 30 years of experience and then put myself in your mind and then start viewing your options so that I can take my thoughts and the way that I function in terms of where do I start, and then tell you, for you to be able to see if Chris started and he was, in your Lisa Lang's position, what would he do with all your gifts, all your talents, all the opportunities that you may be unaware of? And in that consultation, that's what you will leave with. You'll leave with knowing, where do I start?
Got you. Let me see here. We've got some great articles for you guys. Now, the problem I come across, some people are like, Erica, what skills, what jobs, what things do I need? And I'm like, whoa. Let's research. But let me go ahead and show you this article Chris provided for us. It's like the most in demand skills. And then that way we can kind of get over that. Greetings, everyone, as well. Excuse me. Let me see here. Most in demand skills for 2024. Keeping up with in demand skills is important for several reasons. Okay. Let's keep on going on down here. Technology skills are in demand. Number one is artificial intelligence and machine learning. Okay, there's a growing need. There's cybersecurity, as we just talked about. With the increasing number of prevalence of cyber threats, there will be a growing need for cybersecurity professionals. Data analytics. As companies collect more data than ever before, and your blood and your fingertips, the ability to analyze and make sense of data will become increasingly important. Number four, cloud computing. Now, before we even go to the second part of this, let's just talk about those technology skills in demand. Chris, break that down for us. Why are these so in demand?
Okay, AI and machine learning is in demand because that's essentially the next phase of the internet. That's literally, this is going to be something totally new. There's going to be a lot of virtuality, a lot of automation, and all of these things, even though they're going to wipe out a lot of jobs, they're going to keep a lot of jobs, meaning the people who have the vision to be able to see that anything that's created, you, if it wipes out your job, somebody has to support that which is created. And so there's a business professional, and he had mentioned what he would do if the gold rush had happened today. He was like, okay, what would you do? It's a deep question to ask, a billionaire. And he said, I would make pancakes. In other words, yeah, it's like dun dun dun. Like, okay, that doesn't sound like a dud, but it's not. In other words, anytime technology shifts, if you have the mindset that I am going to find out what I can do to support the shift, then you will be able to transition and change with change and not be changed.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole goal of having a mentor or a coach is to be able to give you these insights that you're getting free right now, in this interview, so that you'll be able to shift and adjust with technology, and you won't be left behind because technology shifts so fast. I mean, in the past, it was like, okay, if you were out 3 months, 6 months, you were just like, whoa, you were like a year behind.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, if you miss out on technology for 3 months, you're probably a year and a half behind. That's why college is just, it's a joke if you don't have a purpose attached to it. But so when I look at AI and I look at machine learning, that's just you being ready for the automation phase that's coming. Cybersecurity, I don't need to sit and explain all that to you. I think the intro said enough. It was pretty succinct
Yeah.
in that cybersecurity is so important that if they neglect you as a cybersecurity professional, they're literally neglecting their own company. It's sort of like cutting off their nose to spite their face. So you're in a situation where there's a shortage of cybersecurity professionals right now. It's a global shortage, literally. Companies are vying and competing for cybersecurity professionals. So if you are equipped with these skills and you have the certifications, the training, and the knowledge and the experience, you pretty much have a blank check at this point in period in time. So that goes without saying. Data analytics, there's so much data growing, Erica, that
Mm-hmm.
people look at it like, oh, okay, there's a lot of data. Just put it in a storage system. Okay, we'll do that. We'll buy big servers. We'll put it in there. Now, who's going to chop that data up and make it meaningful?
Right.
We need those guys. We need professionals who can take that information, such as data scientists or data engineers or data analysts, who can be able to take that information and make it meaningful, meaning take the information, create programs to be able to extract the data and present it to the decision makers. This could be someone who works in a hospital who needs information on a patient and needs to derive it or pull it from several different systems or databases. Somebody has to curate this data
Right.
and prepare it and make it extractable for these people in a user friendly manner. Cloud computing, I just gave you the example with MGM. If they, I mean, literally, I'm not a cybersecurity professional. I'm just a tech
Yeah.
guy. I've been on the tech streets for 30 years. I can just clearly see this sounds like a disaster recovery issue, a business continuity issue. Even though it's technical, it literally looks like the disaster recovery plan was so vulnerable that even though they had the vulnerability that was technical, this is literally a business vulnerability issue. And if you had the cloud computing people on board, you imagine having a cloud disaster recovery professional in your company telling you, hey, have two sites, one that's hot and another one that's hot. So it's a hot swap, meaning AWS goes down, we go right over to Microsoft Azure. no, I'm not going to do that because now we have to have 10 AWS engineers on board and 10, Microsoft Azure engineers on board. And that's just going to, increase the budget. You just want this because you want more money and you want to get more experience with managing a bigger budget and you want promotion.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Okay. Now, the IT executive who argued this point, he's
They're
sitting back,
fired.
you know, you
The
see
guy
my
who
point?
argued against him, he's like, "Yeah, you fired."
Because it's all recorded and
Mm-hmm.
everybody knows the beefs that take place in corporations
Right.
and how they go into meetings and how this guy is completely defending the point that he doesn't want another hot site, doesn't want a department of Microsoft Azure engineers, and this guy just doing this so that he can level himself up in the company. Really? Was he looking out for the interests of the company, or was this guy looking out for his own interests?
I
He's
mean,
looking
does
out
this,
for
I feel like
the
this guy should get a blank check. Like if he says I need 20 people tomorrow, he's getting 20 people tomorrow.
this guy's gonna get whatever he wants. I mean, this guy is like Steve Jobs coming back to Apple. What do you
Yeah.
need? Just
What do you need? Because I mean, they were back there like, what's happening? I can just see it like one of them boiler rooms. Everybody's sweating, like, what's going on? I don't know what's happening to, the system's melting down. And you're just like, I told y'all. I needed another. You know what I'm saying? Like one of those
exactly.
old movies for real. Aja says she works at a hospital and we're doing that just now, in fact. So that's what they're doing. They have 2 hot sites. But um continue and then I'll go to questions after this. Keep going. Data analytics and cloud computing.
Oh, I did data analytics and cloud computing, and
Mm-hmm.
I think this. I have a cybersecurity school and a cloud computing school, so it's interesting that these are presented here as some of the top ones. And the reason that I focused on some of these top areas of cybersecurity and cloud computing is because they're not going to go away. So
Mm-hmm.
if I'm going to offer if I'm going to offer some training to you and tell you that you should put yourself in this career, is because it's one of the top growing professions in tech at this time. So you're
Right.
sitting pretty, and this is information coming from like the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I think cybersecurity has like a 35% growth rate.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking money. Once you get trained, you're still going to be making money, even if that percentage goes down, because it's going to take a long time to fill the gap of that shortage for cybersecurity.
Right.
And cloud computing goes without saying. Cloud computing ties into operations plus disaster recovery.
Yeah, there's some guy that applied probably months ago. He's just like, man, I ain't never called me back. His phone blowing up today. Hey, it's MGM Graham. Just seeing if you're available to come in today for an interview. No, to come to work right now.
Right now. Yeah,
Right now.
we sent you the package and this comes with a bonus. Just fifty
just come
thousand
on
dollars
in.
down here.
Come on in. Whatever your kids at, put them at daycare. So this second part of it says soft skills in demand. While technology skills are important, soft skills are also crucial for your career. So the top 4 they list, of course, are emotional intelligence, creativity, collaboration, adaptivity. Little story, I have a friend who said at his job they had a guy, he just could not work well with others. They put him in a cubicle by himself and gave him this like fancy title, but really they were like, we just could not couldn't work with other people. So talk to me about emotional intelligence, creativity, and collaboration. Talk to me about it.
What I like to do, Erica, I tell them a story about when I worked in a data center, and there was this guy. He was 18 years old. He had a CCIE, so he was just way more intelligent than a normal human. He was way more intelligent than me and probably all the guys on the team. And he was 18 and he was CCIE, which is like, they were making like 250, almost to $500,000 a year at that time. At that time, you're talking like way past 20 years ago. And he would call up and he would just rip people's heads off verbally, just, rah, 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 rah. So they would always put me on the phone because I was just cool, calm with him, right? Right. And so one time he said, so I answered his questions, I helped him out, and then he said, "I'm glad you put the phone in the hands of the capable." I was like, oh my goodness, like this guy was so full of himself, he couldn't help it. So that's a lack of
The
emotional intelligence.
capable. Just
Yeah, like he
just
was just like
insulting everyone. Just
just
insulting.
talking haughty, and for him to use that level of language at 18, it's impressive, but it's arrogant. And it was
Mhm.
people didn't like working with him. So that goes into emotional intelligence. You just got to be intelligent enough to know that we're professionals, but there's feelings involved.
Mhm.
We're human. You have human nature. The inflection of your tone, the posture, your countenance, how you look at people, eye contact, greetings. salutation, all these things really matter. And it's the small things, like literally. I would say good morning to this guy on a contract every single morning for like 6 months. He wouldn't say nothing to me. You see, he still would say that to you.
Manners cost you nothing. And people always make fun of Southerners for speaking to people. And this girl was like, she moved from New York down, and people in the office, everybody says hello when they come in. Well, she came in late one day and didn't say anything. They were like, excuse me. And I'm like, ma'am, it's just common. It's just common courtesy. It's just acknowledging the presence of we all got to work here. It takes 2 seconds to say hi. I think I told you the story about my mom was in Iraq and they had a New York reserve unit by their area in their setup, and she would be speaking to people. They'd be looking at her crazy. She's like, we're in the middle of war and I am speaking to you, right? Like, you will speak, right? And of course she was Sergeant Grant, but there were some younger people, but it was just like, that's just insane to me. Like, it's a simple 2-second hello, yes, acknowledge, keep it moving. It's almost like just nodding your head, yes, hello. Like,
Exactly.
it's crazy. It's crazy. Somebody said an 18-year-old popping off like that. Not me. Y'all still in here. Someone said MGM Graham used the data to catch gambling frauds and scammers, neglecting data and cybersecurity. They got 57 security guards, can't do nothing because their keys don't work either. Just standing around looking crazy. Go ahead and finish.
Insecure security guards. All right. So creativity. I've been talking about this for about at least 4 years. In terms of, and this is before AI blew up. I told people, and you go watch my old videos on YouTube. I said, look, there's some skills that if you don't have in the future, I didn't have my pulse on AI because I hadn't blown up like that. But I've been in this business for so long that I just, it's like throwing a no-look pass on basketball. I just know the position and what's going to happen, what needs to be, and who needs to be where. Creativity, problem solving, all these different types of skills cannot be replaced by automation. Creativity, I'm telling you, if you are supporting, I don't care if they had all the robots taking over, the world. Somebody's going to need to take care of these robots because economically scarce resources, alternative uses, and life cycle of materials. There's going to be rust and there's going to be programs that need to be updated. Who's going to do it? So you got to be creative enough to be able to understand these things. And you got to be creative when you're troubleshooting. I tell you guys all the time, bread and butter is in troubleshooting in tech. If you're not creative, I tell people stories about things that I've had to troubleshoot. You got to be creative because what you don't think the problem is and what you don't think the solution is, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be, you're going to go in, or I'm going to solve this problem. It's probably another totally different problem that's causing that problem. And then it's going to be a totally different solution. Just like with MGM, they're probably looking at it as technology. What's wrong? What's wrong with tech? I'm just going to look at it from a business perspective. It's a disaster recovery and business continuity issue. It don't seem like it, but it is. Collaboration. You got to be able to work with people because everybody in MGM Grand right now, the true professionals, the true leaders, they're in a room seeking to solve a problem. Now, the leaders that were not true leaders, they're in that room pointing fingers at everybody.
Yep.
You see, during a crisis, you can see who's real and who was faking it the whole time. Anybody can make $200,000 a year, dress nice, and have shiny white teeth that was cleaned by a dentist. But when you get into that room and you need to troubleshoot and solve a problem because we're losing $15 million a day, you're going to find out who is real and who is fake. It's not, you can't even play around with this.
They're not going to get their bonus this year. I mean, if I was whoever, it's like, no bonus this year. No bonus.
And I would give nobody a bonus.
I'd be like, this is a disaster. Y'all embarrassing us. Like, it's too much. So it says basically identify your skills you need, take advantage, seek out mentors and coaches, practice. So again, Chris, let me see. Oh, you had some more down here. Let me see. It says some career paths. Okay. So they got data scientists in here, cybersecurity analyst, cloud architect, and human resource manager. Talk to me about these, Chris. Why are these so important?
Okay. So data scientists, as I said, you got a lot of data. You got to make that data meaningful. Cybersecurity analyst. you're not only going to need cybersecurity engineers. There's a whole bunch of flavors of cybersecurity. They got color coded teams with cybersecurity. It gets that serious because you have severity levels and you have levels of expertise. You're not going to put the new cybersecurity engineer on the team that handles the high level things like MGM. That guy, that's just the guy that you're going to use to ask him to go get some coffee or something, because he can't really, he's not going to be able to get on the whiteboard. He's not going to be able to look at the operation, the SOC, the security operations center systems, and see trends and patterns. He's not going to be able to do anything. So cybersecurity analyst is simply someone who is at that entry to mid-level and pretty much supporting the higher level engineers. This is a lower level escalation if you're going to send a ticket and a help desk to somebody. Cloud architect, these are the people who I was telling you about, who would architect the disaster recovery design for the company to be, and this is somebody who's probably getting paid $300 to $500 an hour as a consultant or a consulting firm. And they're going to gladly pay that $300, $500 an hour. See, when we all listen to that, we're like, ain't no way somebody's getting paid $300, $500 an hour. Okay,
with them slot machines down. Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's why people look at it like, man, why do people make so much in tech? I really don't believe it. Okay, you believe it now. They're losing $15 million a day, and you think they're mad paying me $300,000 a year? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And you should pay me $300,000 a year. Keep me motivated. You understand that? You want me motivated. So the cloud architect, he would architect something that designed to make that disaster recovery with two hot sites, with one Amazon AWS and one Microsoft Azure. And after he makes that design, it's up to the company to bring in those professionals. And if you scroll down, that's the human resources person who would be able to be that tech recruiter to get those people that can build out the cloud architect's design and architecture. And so that's where the human resource person comes in. They have their pulse on the market. They know what skills are in demand, out of demand, what skills are experiencing some form of attrition. And they're the ones that can coach tech professionals on what they need, because you see here, they said HR professionals that specialize in emotional intelligence, collaboration, human resource managers will be in high demand. Now, these are not, you got HR and you got people who were specialized in any industry. If you are in a niche, you are going to increase your earning potential, because if you're in a niche, you're scarce, and scarce equals value, and value means higher pay or higher salary.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like recruitment agents, there's a company that tried to offer me a job, and it was like, I'm not gonna say their name. Basically, they scanned all over schools, colleges. They were looking for the next kind of tech folks who are ready for positions and put them with job placement. Basically, is what it was. I was like, wow, this is like a giant human resource. But again, you know what I mean? It's one of those things. It's like it's necessary. Somebody has to go find the people to work, and someone has to place them there. So let me go over to your other article.
Can I make a transition?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so that article right there that you saw, if you're wondering, I want you to know it ties into what we're talking about today, which is start a new tech career in 2024. A lot of people are coming to me and they're like, well, I don't know what to do. Well, me having this interview right here, all I'm doing is feeding you ideas. Because the ideas will let you know, and even the scenarios that I'm talking about, it'll let you know, like, hey, I can kind of see myself, being a cloud architect. I can kind of see myself doing this or doing that, or handling a cybersecurity issue. So this discussion in and of itself is really helping you with your research, because we're essentially researching live. Is that correct, Ericka?
Yes, pretty much. Yeah, we hop on the fly. Before I go to the next one, I was going to say they wanted to ask you, what do you think of Google's cybersecurity certificate?
I think that if it's in demand and it's something that you want to do, then I think that you should pursue it. I just don't think that you should just be running after certifications, because otherwise, what I see with people is that because tech is so exciting, but it's so much depth, it's so wide. What I see people is like the dog running after the fire truck. Another fire truck shows up and they're running after that one, another fire truck. And, I mean, you're like, what was your purpose? You just, now you got 18 certifications, and everybody know you're smarter than everybody, right? But you don't, you didn't target nothing specific, and you're just what I call a jack of all trades and a master of none. I teach people be a jack of all trades and a master of
One.
one.
You guys, I've had people come on this channel that have one certificate, they never got another one, and been in IT for 20 years. It's like, I think it's a internal confidence thing, because exactly what you just said, not picking on you. Karen said, I'm deciding, should I finish project management course on Coursera or take up cybersecurity? What do you want to do? Book a
Hmm.
call with Chris. Let's get you some clarity on what you're trying to accomplish, because that's what ends up happening. You're taking all these different certs. And listen, you guys, I started one cert, I didn't like it. I was like, I don't want to do it. But there is this honeymoon period where people are like, oh, I want to do this. And they start taking the classes. The classes are easy, you're excited, you're thrilled, and then you have to really study. Oh, maybe I'm not good at this. And then they switch to a new thing. And this happens over and over and over. Do not do that. Stay the course, okay? And book a call, Chris. This one, and then I'm going to go to the article. On Tuesday, Minnesota will roll out its first statewide cybersecurity plan. Nearly 24 million in both state and federal tax dollars. It will solidify online defenses at more than 3,000 government entities. Minnesota ain't playing. They about to pay y'all. If you're in
Exactly.
Minnesota, if you're in Minnesota, good
Security.
time.
Good job, cybersecurity guys in Minnesota.
There you go. Let me see. Uh, does Chris Johnson help me with mid career consulting? Do you help them with
Yes.
mid career consulting?
Yes, I just helped a gentleman last week, and he had been in the IT industry for about 13 years. So I do assist people who are mid swing, and I help them, readjust so they can hit a home run.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have some real talk because if you've been in the industry, we're going to have real talk. You're going to have to see yourself and see that all you had to do was have a coach or a mentor like me, and you would have avoided this. But you know
Mm-hmm.
what? Why wait longer and cause the bruise to get worse? Just
Mm-hmm.
come on in, come see the doctor, and we'll get you patched up.
Gotcha. 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 Man, y'all have so many questions. Relax. We're gonna get to them. Let's get to this other article, and then we'll be back. We'll be back. Okay. Let me see here. All right. I think it's this one. Okay, close that. Cut it out. Accept it. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So many things they want me to accept. Okay, scroll down. Top 15 IT search in demand today. All right, you guys. Woo,
Yeah.
woo. We got a lot here. All right. Are y'all ready? Can y'all see the screen? If not, pen and paper should be ready. AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner, Certified Cloud Security Professional, Certified Data Privacy Solutions Engineer, Certified Data Professional, Certified Ethical Hacker, Certified Information Security Manager, Certified Information Systems Professional, Cisco Certified, Cisco Certified Network Professional, CompTIA A Plus, Cloud Plus, Security Plus, Microsoft Certified Azure, Architect Expert, Information Technology Infrastructure Library, Oracle MySQL Database Administration, Project Management Professional, Salesforce Certified Development Lifecycle and Development Designer. Good googly. That was a mouthful here. So talk to me, Chris. Why are these the most in demand? What do they do? Why do we need them?
So if you look at AWS, you look at CCSP, it's cloud. If you were to take this right here and overlay it with what we have already discussed with the jobs, you would see a lot of consistency in terms of if we took those jobs and we took the certifications, and all I would do is go like this. That if I were to create like a document combining both of those,
Mm-hmm.
because AWS is cloud, CCSP is cloud. Data privacy is the data analyst that we were talking about. Data professional, CDP, excuse me, that deals with data. That's data analyst, data engineering. CEH, that's cybersecurity. Um, MGM could have been using some CEH professionals themselves.
Mm-hmm.
The information security manager, cybersecurity. Certified Information System Security Professional, cybersecurity, CCIE, networking. Networking is pervasive. You need networking because we're like the plumbers of technology. All the data goes through the pipes, which is the data links through telecommunication companies, and CCIE, CCNP. That's what we do. Excuse me. That's Cisco version of network certifications. Maybe you'll scroll down a little bit, Eric. I don't think you can see it.
Yeah, I was trying to blow it up, make it bigger so people can see it. There you go.
Okay. And then the CompTIA, A plus, Cloud plus, Security plus. These are what I call principal level certifications, meaning foundational level certifications. This is, I use these types of certifications. They are vendor neutral to build out the new tech professional's career or the transitioning professional's career. So CompTIA, that's what you use to build that foundation of general skills that you need to thrive and be able to troubleshoot throughout your career. The Microsoft Azure Cloud, you're talking about, remember we were talking about cloud architect. Well, how do I become a cloud architect? You would need something like a Microsoft Certified Azure Solutions Architect Expert certification. Now, information technology infrastructure library. This is dealing with taking best practices and tying them to the services of a business and tying the services of a business to the customers or the end users. And so I would think that there's a piece in here that deals with disaster recovery. Henceforth, we're talking about MGM. Oracle MySQL database administration, you're dealing with data. You're also dealing with programming as well with MySQL. PMP, somebody's got to manage all these projects because there's two elements or components of operating technology. There's implementation team and there's the operational aspect. Operation is ongoing. The implementation team utilizes project managers because the implementation is implementing technology and projects have a beginning and an end. You need project managers to manage all of that. Salesforce Certified Development Lifecycle and Deployment Designer. I'm not familiar with this, but this from just reading this right here is dealing with a sales or marketing platform. It's dealing with some level of programming. So you need to have programming, sales skills, and I believe it would be implementation based because it says deployment designer, and it would be someone who would work with architects who would have to be able to design based on what the architects have architected.
For sure. In my very baby elementary level knowledge, I was on some Salesforce training, and I was like, y'all, this 8-year-old could do this. It's just not that difficult. We're putting in names, we're following up with contacts, we're following up with leads. It's just not that hard. I think what has happened in this industry is instead of just hiring a bunch of car salesmen to come on in, they like are trying to convert tech people to salespeople, and it's interesting to watch. Um, just HubSpot. I have HubSpot, a bunch of HubSpot certifications, and I'm like, that's all. That's it. But again, it's you don't need a bunch of guys. You really just need to be confident in some of these interviews, and you need to work on a mock interview with people. It would help you a lot more. Just being honest. So I said it's the biggest CRM run. It is, and so if it's the biggest running, it has to be the most simplistic. If you hear what I'm saying, what I'm trying to say, like it has to be able to train the most people up to be able to work within the system. So, um, so Chris, again, we tell them they don't need 50,000 certs, but they should probably book a call with you to kind of do a map out of what's best for them.
Absolutely, because you know you, but essentially my call is to reintroduce you to you with a tech lens, with a tech perspective, so that you can see yourself the way I see you. So when you make decisions about your career, you can do so with the intelligence of someone who's experienced.
Right.
And you can make an intelligent decision. So you can make a data-driven decision based on who you are, what you desire, what your salary requirements is, where you want to live, what type of job that you want to have based on your previous knowledge, education, and experience. It's just, we want to find it. Look, Ericka, I say that the tech industry is the bus, okay?
Right.
And on the bus, I'm helping people find their seat, okay? That's their tech profession. And what I'm seeking to do is, since I'm the bus driver, is I want to get you to your destination, which is tech success. So I'm a tech success coach. I'm helping you to get there. Now, I'm not, when you get on the bus and you say, where should I sit? I don't know. Do you like a window seat? Do you like
Mhm.
to sit in the aisle? Do you want to sit in the back? Do you want to sit in the front? Do you like to sit in the middle of the area? You get my point.
Yeah.
People come to me sometimes and they just want a whole plan. I could give you a whole plan, but that's
Mhm.
not going to be an advantage to you. I need to know who you are, and you need to know who you are, and then we'll get you on the right seat, and we'll get you to tech success.
Man, it's I just want y'all to understand, like, there's a lot of opportunities out of there, a lot of open doors. If you play around on Indeed half the day, you're like, whoa, this is crazy. But yeah, I updated my resumes on Indeed in a couple places, and I mean that phone just bling ding 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 bling bling bling. It's September surge, y'all. They're hiring. There's two companies in Austin that are big boys, and they're on hiring freeze, but everybody else is hiring. Let me get out of this one. Quick. I think, did we hit this one? Okay, yeah. Okay, here we go. I think this is the other one. Okay. Indeed career guide one. That's what I was trying to get to. You guys, I worked out today. I went to the sauna. I did multiple stream calls. I'm holding on. Chris don't understand. I'm like, okay, the sauna
I
will
got you,
take you
Ericka. I got
down. I did all these like squats. I'm like, my legs help me Jesus. Okay, so this one, can you guys see? It should be showing on the screen here. Okay, what are tech jobs great for in the future? It talks about tips on landing a tech job. But let's get on down here to the 14 of the best tech jobs of the future. All right, you guys, network administrator, $73,000 a year. Now, if you guys don't remember, I told you that Dell, the company here in Austin, was paying for free network administrator degrees, like literally paying at the Austin Community College off of Lamar, not Lamar, off of what's that crossroad? Palmer, off Palmer, but there's a ACC community college around the corner, which was in the hood actually, and they were paying for network administrators. They needed more network administrators for a long time. So, um, man, Chris, do you want me to just read them and then you come back and hit them ones, or what you want to do?
Whatever you feel comfortable with.
Okay.
I'm ready to go when you're ready.
Okay, I'm gonna scroll through a couple of them. Network administrator. Here we go. We got computer systems analyst, 79,000. We got web developer, 82,000. Video game designer, 83,000. We have AE Sports here in town as well. Information security analyst, 87,000. Database administrator, 91,000. IT manager, 92,000. Business intelligence analyst, 96,000. Java developer, 106,000. Mobile application developer, 118,000. Software engineer, 118,000. Development operations engineer, 119,000. Data engineer, 134,000 per year. Data scientist, 144,000 per year. Now, when people be like, "Oh, them jobs, y'all lying, y'all ain't making that much on them jobs." Yeah, yeah. So Chris, take it away. I'm gonna scroll back up to the first one. I
Okay.
think I'm almost
So
there.
with this one right here,
Okay.
with this one right here, I'm glad you hit the job title and then the
Hmm.
salary.
Hmm.
I didn't ask you to do that, but that was the intention.
Hmm.
I wanted that to jump off the page. I wanted you to see, all right, so we see the top jobs that are out there that you can start your career with in 2024.
Hmm.
We see the certifications that you can use to get these jobs. Now, let's say you looked at the jobs, you like those jobs. Now you saw the certifications that you can get. Now, let's start looking at the types of jobs, and now let's look at the salaries. Now, after I do all this work, when I compete, what can be my pay?
Hmm.
Now, they're saying the national average is 73,000. With networking, that would probably be more. But then again, it's a network administrator. It's not like it's a
Right.
full blown engineer. So in this particular case, I mean, you're just sitting at probably a company, manage some of the servers and some of the blinky lights that go red, and you make sure they go green again.
Blinky
So
lights.
I'm just saying, this is not that complex. If I
Yeah.
were to, I've done network administration, like that's just free money.
Chris is
I'll
like, I
take.
do that. I do that on my Wednesdays when I'm bored.
Yeah, like look, it says handle data operations, organizations, computer network systems, and literally once everything is running smooth and you're just sitting there looking at the operational center tools, the network tools, then you'll be able to see when something goes down or something needs to be replaced and things like that. But you got network engineers on call to be able to escalate the higher level issues.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, you can make pretty good money doing this. This ties into the certifications like CCNP and
Mm-hmm.
CCI. That's what it ties into. So these are the certifications that they're talking about. And if you'll see in JumpStart IT Academy, we have a network management or network engineering school.
Mm-hmm.
You can clearly see it's number one. Why did I choose network engineering? Because it's the piping, the wiring that allows the data to go through. So you're going to always need it. You're going to always need cybersecurity. You're going to always need you're going to always need network engineering. You're going to always need cloud computing. You're going to need blockchain. That's coming up right here.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to need project managers. These are things that you're going to need whether you want it or not. So what I offer is things that you're going to need so that if these are some lanes that fit you, then you know that they're going to be in high demand and there's high growth. There's unlimited salary and unlimited opportunity. So when I look at network administration, that's what I see.
Someone asked, how do they get these averages? Easy. They literally go through IRS documents, and when people have a job title, they compare it on top of the research they get from companies reporting salary. And if you ever go on glassdoor.com, there you go. That too. Self-reporting data, HR documents. It's all public knowledge. You know what I mean? Your tax returns aren't out there, but you know what I mean? They kind of
Yes.
do that. You know what I mean? So I'll scroll down to the next one. Since Chris like, I can do that on Thursdays. I don't care about that. Um, I love how it says completing data backups. You know what I'm saying? Okay,
Mm,
computer systems analyst.
okay. So a systems analyst, you're dealing with managing systems, whether it be Microsoft operating systems
Mm-hmm.
on servers, or whether it be Linux systems, excuse me, or whether it be Linux systems. Essentially, you would probably be building out servers or managing or installing the applications that are on the servers or troubleshooting the servers or building the servers and then installing the applications. Now, when I say applications, I'm not talking like Microsoft Word or nothing like that. I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about enterprise level applications, applications that are on servers and servers are there to serve.
Yeah.
Your PC is a personal computer, that's just yours, but
Mm-hmm.
a server is going to be for 2 to 10,000 people to be able to use. So they're going to share that. So it's a server, and these enterprise level applications go on these servers, and they serve the people who have need of it. If you have a finance department and you're spread across all 50 states in America, and you have data centers with these servers that serve certain areas or regions, then the computer system analyst would be monitoring and managing these particular servers. They would deal with, like it says here, software audits, upgrades. This is talking about like evaluating the security, the
Mm-hmm.
hardness of the system to make sure there's no local vulnerabilities. That's typically done when you build the server out to make sure it has no holes that cybersecurity people who are they call them the black hat hackers can take
Right.
advantage of that. So you want to secure that down. You want to do upgrades because upgrades usually are called patches, and they patch up the different holes or vulnerabilities that were in place. Usually there's enterprise level central location where it can push out these patches to these servers. The computer system analyst, he would be responsible for something like that.
Okay.
So, and they would also do scripting, coding, stuff like that.
Gotcha. Web developer, making websites basically. There
There you go.
you
That's not
go.
complex.
Video game designer.
Yeah,
This one's got
it's
like
programming.
storylines. Yeah.
Programming. It's programming for video games. So some people go to college to learn this stuff. Some people just learn programming languages and just start programming. I
Mm-hmm.
believe this is the type of skill that is mobile and portable and doesn't really need to be learned in a college setting.
Right.
This is, you can teach yourself these things, but then again, I know there's a structure behind it because they're saying storylines, props, settings, and rules. But if you have somebody that's already developed that and you're going to program it for them, then I totally understand going to school to learn the design aspects of it. But nonetheless, I still think some of this stuff can be learned at the house.
At the house. Okay. All right, we got information security analyst. This was who was supposed to be working at the casino.
I was like, Lord, like, information security analysts, these are the people that should have been on board. There's some people, like you were saying earlier, Erica, there's some people who are going to get fired.
Got
There's some
to.
people who were like, hey, uh, tomorrow's going to be like yesterday because yesterday was going to be like today. They went
Mhm.
into the job and they were just relaxing. Nobody was really looking at nothing because nothing happens. They're too busy figuring out how they're going to get to that buffet before 11:30. Okay, that's just what they were thinking. They was very relaxed and very familiar with their environment and the settings and the different tools that they were using, but they shouldn't have been. But that gives you an opportunity, all of you who are listening, in that you can become an information security analyst, get into cybersecurity, and get involved with the aspect of security to be able to solve problems like this, so that when MGM Grant or any other organization experiences a cybersecurity vulnerability or issue or problem, then you can be in position to be able to take advantage of it. And I assure you that when you solve problems like this, whoever's going to solve this problem, giving them a $50,000 bonus is nothing.
For sure, for sure. I believe it. Okay. Oh, Aunt Johnson finally told everybody because he doesn't have a college degree. He is a data integration engineer. Self taught, y'all. It's
You know,
LTV and self taught. So okay, because the people always ask him, and he is in here. So let me go on to the next one. Database administrator. Tell us
okay.
about it, Chris.
Database administrator. When you were looking at the Oracle certification, this ties into the database administration. Either you're going to develop the database or maintain an existing database or add scripts or programming to enhance functionality for an existing database. And there's several different flavors of database. You've got SQL, Oracle, there's several other databases, which I'm not a database specialist,
Mm-hmm.
but I've worked with these guys and I've had to bring them into certain projects. And they understand the language that they're using, the structure that's required, are what needs to be done. So from my perspective, I was an infrastructure engineer when I was interfacing with them.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but nonetheless, they maintain, create, or add to the functionality of databases. I think it's a cool job because, like I told you, data is not doing nothing but growing, and someone's going to have to be able to create the what I call the buckets to put the data in and organize them so that the people who are data scientists and data engineers can go into those buckets, make them meaningful, and then hand those buckets to the people who make decisions.
For sure, for sure. Okay, let's go down. IT manager. I'm the manager, B. What's up? What does the IT manager do other than get on the staff nerves? What does the IT manager do?
So essentially, the IT manager is the person that is going to manage the technology department. He's going to manage, let's say, systems engineers, cybersecurity engineers, network engineers, cloud engineers, perhaps programmers, interns, project managers. This is the person that's going to be interfacing with the business people. He's going to be interfacing with leaders, vendors, and he's going to be interfacing with his own team. He's going to be managing engineers who probably manage 10 plus projects. He's got a lot on his plate. Sleep is a great thing, if you're working for a Fortune 500 company. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're working for a small company, I'm telling you, you'll probably get paid just as much. You probably wouldn't have the same opportunity as a guy who worked for who was an IT manager for a Fortune 500 company, because there's an equivalent in salary, but not
Mm-hmm.
equivalent in terms of flexibility and ability to be promoted to the next level. So IT
Gotcha.
managers usually go to senior vice presidents, and directors, or senior directors.
Okay. Okay. Then we have business intelligence analysts.
Business intelligence analyst is no different than a business analyst.
Gotcha.
These are the people who are going to be managing the business data. They're going to be basically in the meetings being advocates for the business.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to be, let's say, managing or are dealing with or interfacing with the CRMs. They understand sales goals, and they just understand how the technology ties with the business, so that technology is used to support the business. And technology doesn't drive the business, but to maintain and ensure that business drives the business
Mm-hmm.
and uses technology as a vehicle to enhance its operations.
And Chris, I'm so glad you're going to this because I don't know if you're inside the Breaking into Tech Facebook group, but people be like, what are the job titles? What are the names? I'd be like, y'all, we gotta Google. We gotta Google. We gotta do a little bit better. But go ahead, Java developer.
Yeah, so Java developer, that's somebody who is specialized in the programming language of Java, which is very popular. And you need to know a language. I believe Java is used for building websites, but is also used for scripting as well.
Gotcha. All right, we got mobile application developer, which is important because them apps, them Cash apps, them other apps, them Spotify apps. Talk to me. What do they do?
Yeah, so I would say this goes without saying because whenever you need something on your phone, where do you go? You go to the
Mhm,
App Store. Okay,
mhm.
so instead of you being the end user and going to the App Store, you're the one creating the apps that go in the App Store. Now, if you can make $118,000 doing this for somebody else, building an app for somebody else, now here's an idea. What if you did it for yourself?
That part. Make your own app. But people need marketing. Sometimes people don't know. Okay, let me go to software engineer. It's a word we hear often. What is a software engineer, Chris?
So a software engineer is essentially someone who not only knows how to program, but understands the fundamental principles behind programming, understanding architectures. Like they'll
Mhm.
understand programming architectures, system architectures, and then they'll also have an understanding of networking architectures as well. So software engineers, they get paid a lot of money. I think if you go to Glassdoor, this will probably be a lot higher than 118 because instead of being a programmer, software engineers usually some have, bachelor's, master's, or even a PhD level degrees, and they're able to communicate and articulate at very high levels. They're not just positions just for talking about a project and the language that they're going to use and what they're going to do with the task. These
Mhm.
people can literally sit in the room with architects and tell you compromises with different systems that are being purchased and in terms of the scaling and the capacity of those different systems because they understand conflicts based on concepts. So
Okay.
these are deep people.
Okay. We got development operations engineer.
Development operations engineer. Let's see here. Okay, so this sounds like an operation engineer that. Okay, so remember I was telling you
Got
that
some more
there's.
money.
Hmm?
Engineer just got some more money. got a
Yeah,
little bit more
so
responsibility.
they're basically it sounds like developmental engineers, programmers that have more responsibility. That's just another layer. They have communication
Hmm.
skills, they have relational skills in terms of being relationship managers, and so they put them in between implementation teams and the operational teams because they know what each needs. They know projects are development projects that are in the pipeline, and they
Hmm.
know what's going to be going into operations and what needs to be managed to perhaps cross train or train people during that transition so they know what they need to do to build it and they know what they need to do to support it.
Gotcha. All right. We got data engineer and one more after this.
Data engineer, I explained that earlier. You're dealing with somebody who needs to take the data, make the data meaningful. If you see all of these nowadays, Eric, all these jobs, most of them are going to require learning at least one language. In the past, you can get away with not learning a computer language, but it just simply benefits you to know it because when things start going into the cloud, you're going to need to program certain things for something that historically you wouldn't have to do, but
Right.
now you have to, and you're going to be able to create scripts so that you can cause small, measured functionality changes within whatever it is that you're working on.
For sure. For sure. And last but not least, the data scientist. I see someone in the comments says their mother's studying to do that now. What is a data scientist?
So the data scientist is essentially like the software engineer.
Hmm.
Uh, that's that. That's the data person that has that conceptual understanding as well as the tactical hands-on understanding. So they're not going to go into the meeting talking granularly if they don't need to, but they can go into meeting and talk granularly, or they can talk from 30,000 feet high in a helicopter. So
Mm-hmm.
they can sit before architects, engineers, business professionals, and vendors, and they they're portable. You can take them places, and they can like sit in for IT managers when they're not going to be there.
Ooh, okay, okay. So we always get this question every show. Thank you for supporting the channel. We appreciate it. We always get this question every show. Is there an age cap? Is there an Am I too old? Uh can I do it tomorrow? I turned 29. Am I too old? Can I do it tomorrow? Talk to us about age
Okay.
versus skill.
All right. So what I'll say is this: MGM is losing $15 million a day as we speak. If you are 150 years old and you have a picture of Noah on your desk, they don't care. They want you to
You're like, I
take that
walked with Jesus.
yeah, take that water from Noah and put out that technology fire. Okay. Nobody cares how old the water is. They just want you to put it out.
Mhm.
So don't worry about age. It's a myth. Technology is about solving tech problems.
Mhm.
In other career fields, you may meet up with age issues, but technology problems are rampant and they cost money. And when things cost money, nobody cares how old the person is that saves them money.
I tell y'all this story every time because it matters. I was getting this is about 2 years ago, maybe three. Was getting a truck repaired, and we were in Houston, and Houston has a 3 shift truck repair location. I mean, they have a shift every. It doesn't close. It doesn't stop. And the young Hispanic guys were getting stuff. We can't get the computer. It won't work. And they literally come out the back. It's this little old guy. He's shuffling. Like he's so old. He's just like slowly coming around the corner, like, excuse me. They get out the chair and they let him click, 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 and it was fixed. He said, "Now, did you pay attention when I showed you the thing?" And then he got up and shuffled back to the back again. I don't know where they keep this man at. I don't know if he's in a broom closet. I don't know if he's in a tiny office. He can't be younger than 75 years old. The way he walked out there, and he was just in some dad clothes. He wasn't even in the mechanic clothes. He was in a polo shirt and a khaki. Y'all, they don't matter. When they don't know how to do that computer, that man came out the back. I said, "Oh my god, that's some job security right there." Because they weren't paying attention when he started clicking either. I'm like, "Do you not understand? Y'all making this man keep this job because y'all not paying attention." But okay, so I want y'all to please let that go about that age because I've seen some stuff where people coming out the back. You're like, "Who is this person?" Aunt Johnson said, "I have no degree or cert, and on my second tech job, you just have to put in the work honestly and study 2 hours a day." Everybody's different. Some people may need an hour, some people may need 30 minutes, but to me, it's just a progressive of growing, right?
Yes.
Let me see, what was the other one? Another one. I forgot. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, well, I guess I lost it. Okay, so anyways, that my whole point is, Chris, name some of the courses you have and how they can connect with you, and we will basically be putting this up here again. Talk to us, Chris.
So you can connect with me through the JumpStart IT Academy consultation bundle, and you can schedule some time to talk to me because, like I said, your tech journey is personal. It's not something that I could, just go off a question in a chat in an interview. There's not enough time because you're a very complex, dynamic person,
Mm-hmm.
and we respect you enough to be able to let you know that.
Okay.
What was your last question, Erica? Oh,
Uh,
the
the
courses.
courses, yeah, yes.
Okay, so yeah, it's actually more robust than new courses. We have 5 schools. We've got the cloud school, we've got the cybersecurity school,
Mm-hmm.
we've got the network engineering school, and we've got blockchain school, and we got the project management school. So these are all schools with comprehensive curriculums that take you from zero to tech hero.
For sure, you guys. And if you can't see, I thought I had it on the screen. My bad. Let me put it here. This is what you'll see when you click on that link. Click on that link, you guys. Just right here, you get literally. You'll see people. You'll see testimonials. You'll see. Look at that screen. Circle, circle, circle. Look at that hair over there. I know that girl. It's going up here. Winners. You get the book. Free. Communicate, not communicate. Eight keys for leaders and professionals to communicate effectively. All right. Then you get to hop on the phone with Chris. Because again, I'm telling y'all, most of y'all have ideals, but you need to be able to voice kind of what is the plan for your life, right? And somebody said Tech Tuesday always fire. Thank you, appreciate it. Someone said, is there a lane or a job that is part time in tech? I work 50 plus hours a week, sometimes way more. Again, this is one of those things where you should book a call, because why do you want to work more on top of this? Do you want to replace your other job? These are questions you have for yourself, really, before you even get on phone with Chris. Do you want to transition into a different career? Sometimes it's time to leave one career and go to the next. Is this where you're at? These are why I tell people just book a call. Like nothing hurts you. You didn't lose anything. Nothing's worse than losing time 3 years from now and then wanting to ask the same questions 3 years from now. Nothing's worse. I promise you. Like, just make it easy for yourself. Any closing parts, Chris? Anything else we missed?
Yeah. So what I want to say in closing is that, I'm a lead tech success coach, and you want tech success. So I'm going to tell you that your tech success fuel. Your tech success fuel is the JumpStart IT Academy consultation bundle. Here, we have an expectation for you when you do come to us. We expect you to understand time, budget, and energy. Now, it takes time to level up in tech. It takes a budget, and it takes energy. Yep. So make sure that when you come to me, you understand it, because if you have the time, but you have no budget, or you have no energy, it doesn't matter. If you have a budget, but you have no time, you have no energy, it doesn't matter. If you have energy, but you have no time, you have no budget, it doesn't matter. We need you to have a time, a budget, and some energy, because if you want to go from making zero in tech to making $150,000, then the tech success fuel is you having time, budget, and energy. Because if you were to come to me and you said, hey, here's the tech vehicle, I want to get from this destination, but I don't got no fuel. How can I get you there? If you don't have time to drive, even if you did have the fuel. So you need to have a combination of time, budget, and energy, and then we can get you to where you want to go. Otherwise, we're going to think you're not serious. So if you're serious, go ahead and get that consultation bundle, and we are serious. We are probably way more serious than you, 30 years worth of serious.
For sure. And I just want to read this. This is Journey to Jasmine. I think her last name is also Johnson. She put, this is the kind of information you hear, pick up, and run with. I get confirmation on something new every time Chris blesses the channel. Must be a Johnson thing. Many thanks. You guys, Journey to Jasmine also watched the Tech Tuesdays and went and got a tech job. She's on her second tech job or promotion at this point. So we have a lot of people testimonials constantly watch the channel, take action, and are super blessed by it. I told y'all my last year boat party, Chris, was nothing but tech people. We had 3 of the regulars. Everybody was tech people, and they're like, hey, and it was just super interesting because it was funny. I was like, dance, everybody. They're like, tech people. No, we don't dance. It was a few dancers. It was a few. But yeah, Black Heights was one of our sponsors. It was funny. But yes. So, you guys, listen, at the end of the day, there's 100 days left for something a year, maybe 115, maybe 112. I don't keep track because I schedule out my year a year in advance, right? So I'm just telling you, as a person who, my phone is ringing off the hook, my Indeed is beeping, my LinkedIn's are constantly beeping with people offering jobs. The opportunities are out there, and you don't overthink it. A lot of this needs confidence, courage, and a plan. So definitely book your time with Chris, and you probably see him in some of his links in the free Tech Tuesday Breaking into Tech Facebook group, and you'll probably see it tomorrow on the channel. So thank you so much, Chris, for your time.
Thank you, Ericka. Thank you, audience, as well. I appreciate you all.
Okay, thank you so much.